Good morning, TheTomtompiper here. Just a quickie today, just replying to some comments that Dibsdadon, hope I'm pronouncing this right. He promised me a video, the last one he made to his comments. Hasn't arrived yet, but I'm sure it might. So we have been trying to educate myself and Wrath of Khan about the science behind my last video to the Dutch philosopher, about the possibility that there may be other universes and that there probably are other dimensions. You can't be sure. You're never sure about anything in science. All science can do is make predictions, test them, see if they come out. If they come out, then say our view so far is pretty good. We'll keep using this until something better comes along. If the predictions are wrong, then they just throw out the science or the idea that made that prediction because it's probably wrong. It's called falsification. And using this method, you've got all these wonderful things around us now: mobile phones, televisions, radios, cars, airplanes. All of these things have come through this process, and it's a very good process. Works a lot of the time. Very occasionally it screws up, but it is very occasionally. So we have a trust that science is the best way of going forward, and until something better comes along, we'll stick to that. Now, in our conversation with Dibsdadon, he was saying about he didn't believe about these other universes because they hadn't been observed, and we asked him what he meant by observation. He says until they're observed, God did it. It's his default one. He thinks that the null hypothesis, it's easy for you to say, the null hypothesis for him is God did it. And that's what we have to disprove, that God did it every time we're doing some scientific research. I don't think we'll have to do that myself. Now, we gave up trying to educate him because obviously he just doesn't want to believe anything that will affect his belief in his God. It's called confirmation bias. And even though he will accept that the core of the earth is made out of iron, even though nobody's ever observed it, he won't believe that there's a possibility that these other universes and dimensions exist, even though the mathematics would tend to suggest that this is the case, and some of our observations, as in the weakness of gravity compared to what it should be, would tend to think that there's something like this going on. Nobody's quite sure yet, but that's the way science works. We're not quite sure. We do some research, we become more and more sure as time goes on. We can never be 100% sure, but the level of certainty will go up and up and up. So his parting shot to us was, your belief in science is faith-based, just the way my belief in God is faith-based. And that's just pure nonsense. And I'm going to try a quick analogy to him to demonstrate what the difference is between my trust in science and his faith in God. And this is where he's conflating the two. He's conflating trust and faith. Now, I made a cup of coffee this morning. I came down, put milk in my cup, stuck it in the microwave because I like my milk warm when I'm making my coffee. Put water in the kettle, switched it on, and came in to set up the camera and set up the computer. And when I went back in, I took the milk out of the microwave, put the coffee in, gave it a stir, poured the water in from the kettle. But did I check if the water was warm before I poured it in? No. Why not? The reason why I didn't check is because I've had that kettle for years and it's never let me down. I have trust in that kettle. The trust has been earned because it is reliable. Now, if I was to move house and during the move my kettle went missing, and I arrived at the other house, and while I was packing the stuff away in the kitchen, I found an old kettle, and that kettle had the lid wrapped around it and it was dusty, but it appeared to be working. So I could clean it out, put some water in it, stick my coffee cup in the microwave with a bit of milk in it, switch the kettle on, and if I was called away and to do something else, and got back a few minutes later and took my cup out of the microwave, put coffee in. Before I put the water into my cup, I would touch the kettle or put my hand close to it to check it was warm before I poured it in. Why would I do that? Because I have no trust in that kettle. I have no relationship with that kettle. I don't know whether it'll work. Was it put in the cupboard because it was faulty, or was it put in because somebody got a new kettle and was keeping this as a backup? I don't know. I would check before I put it in. It would be the sensible thing to do. So therefore, anybody who came back and lifted that up and poured the water in expecting it to be warm without checking, that would be faith. After years of using it, lifting the kettle up and pouring it into your cup is trust. Completely different things.
You're going to trust that I catch you. I'm going to trust that you fall. Laura, you trust me. Okay, let's do this. Are you ready? Here we go. When I say let's do it. Okay, Laura, let's do it. All right there. I got your attention.
I have trust in science. I have trust in scientists who are doing the work to get the right answer, because the method is the best method we have found for describing how the universe works. It is by far the best. It's much better than millennia old books written by somebody who hadn't a clue what they were talking about, who thought that the earth was held up on pillars and the sky was blue because there was water above it. Much better than that.
What kind of pain are you in? What's wrong with you? Broken collarbone. Broken collarbone?
Yes, sir.
How long has it been that way?
A couple of days.
Well, you've
Since
already
Friday.
took that thing off your back.
Exactly.
Which one is it?
This one right here.
Lord, there it is, putting it together right there. Mend this collarbone together in the name of Jesus. Bones, go together. Now move it around. Start moving it around. Start thanking God. Who else in severe pain? You're in severe, you're just, what kind of pain are you?
So that's why you have faith in your God and I have trust in scientists, and that's the difference. If you want to make a reply to this video, feel free to knock yourself out, but for now this is TomtompiPiper signing off. Have a good day.